It didn't matter how many friends I lost. It didn't matter how many family members turned against me. I knew I was standing up for what was right.
We are actually getting to the root cause of the issues in Black America, the heart of it.
One thing about me is I'm not going to be part of anything that I don't feel is actually impacting the community. Our life's work is Black America.
All right, Detroit, I need y'all to welcome to the stage the speaker, podcast host, founder of the BLEXIT chapters, and the director of BLEXIT, Pierre Wilson.
What's going on? What's going on, Detroit? I am so happy to be here today. You guys don't understand. Bringing this Liberation Show to Detroit has been years in the making. We knew that you guys would appreciate the glory of this show. I'm being biased right now, but listen, I am so thankful that you guys are all here. Round of applause for you guys, for yourselves real quick. You know, BLEXIT's journey, it began kind of with an idea from our founder, Candace Owens and Brandon Tatum. And you know, people thought it was a crazy idea when it first came out, trying to create a Black exit from the left, the same left that has had a stranglehold on our community for decades. It's not an easy task, right? But we're starting to see the fruits of that labor. But let me tell you how we got here. We spent a lot of time hearing all the reasons why BLEXIT wouldn't work. People would tell us constantly, you know, these are people that just don't think like this. They're not going to agree with you. They're too far gone. We heard some of the worst things, pretty much essentially telling us to give up on this community. And I'll be honest with you, I think a lot of conservatives did. A lot of conservatives believed that the Black community was too far gone, and even if they cared about the Black community, it was still too difficult. It was a waste of resources, right? We're never going to change their mind is what people thought. Well, we learned through BLEXIT that it's important to go where the battle is, okay? Which means that we have to show up in the places where they are. They're not going to come to us. So that's what we did differently than what we saw from so many years and so many decades of other Black conservative groups. And I'm not here to throw any shade, by the way, to the Black conservative groups that came before us. I think they had a place. I think they were trailblazers for us. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for a lot of the great minds that came before us, but there was something missing from the Black conservative movement. I want to give you an example. When I went through my journey and I began to kind of explore if I really was a liberal, if I was a conservative, or where I stood on so many issues, and I was doing the research, I realized pretty quickly that I was voting a way that didn't align with the values that I believed in. So naturally, I started to try to get involved with different groups and see if I can learn more and educate myself more. And I came across some different Black conservative organizations, and I remember getting excited, and I said, man, I'm gonna go to this event. I'm super excited about it. I can't wait to meet people who are like me, who understand the struggle of what it is to be a person in Black America and say I'm conservative, right? So the first time I went to an event like this, it was mind-boggling for me, but in a good way. I was excited. I saw everything that I wanted. I saw a room full of people who were also minorities, who had gone through similar things that I had gone through and who broke free, and I was pumped. The second time, they had another banquet later in the year, and I went to that one too, and I looked around the room and I saw a lot of the same people again, and I was still pumped. I was like, oh, it's great seeing y'all again. This is amazing. The third event that I went to, they did 2 a year. The third event that I went and I looked around the room again and I said, oh, the same people in here again. But yeah, it's great to be here. I'm so excited to be here. It's good seeing y'all. By the time I went to the fourth one, I was like, all right, wait a minute now. This is, this is the same people again. We're not moving the needle here, you know, and I think that created an opening for BLEXIT to exist, right? So BLEXIT challenges the narrative, and it challenges things in a way that I think we've never seen before. And what I mean by that is we actually pride ourselves on reaching out to people who disagree with us and spending more time with people who think they disagree with us than people who do. So I'm proud to sit here and tell you that over 70% of the BLEXIT leaders who are with us today previously thought that they identified with the left. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. That's proof that we are actually moving the needle and we are not just sitting on the side and saying, hey, look at us, we broke free, we're great, they don't know what they're doing over there. We are actually outreaching to people who disagree. And one of the things that we found out by actually going to where the battle is, because I mentioned that earlier, and where the battle is black churches, historically black colleges and universities, Baltimore, right? We're going to go in the heart of Baltimore, Atlanta, Chicago, going to these places that you see people talk about online, but no one's actually really there trying to make change. We are going to these places, right? And what we actually realize is something that I don't even know if you guys would believe, but it's true, is that a lot of these individuals actually agree with us. The battle wasn't so much of whether they agree or disagree. The battle was actually having the opportunity to be able to talk to them. Right? And now it made it more clear to us why the left works so hard to silence our voices, why they don't want us in these spaces, why they claim to own these spaces, because they were afraid if the conversation happened that we just might open some or free some people. They might open their minds. They might start to think differently. They knew this might happen, which is why they work so hard to keep us out of these spaces. So we just did an Educate to Liberate tour with Savannah Craven, who was out here earlier. Give her a round of applause, by the way. She's been incredible. Savannah Craven is going into the heart of these HBCUs, these historically black colleges and universities, and she is unafraid, unapologetic. Rakita, who sung the national anthem, she actually heads up our student movement. She also is on these campuses. Give her a round of applause as well. And they will tell you, we are having conversations with these students, and man, a lot of them, Savannah has a funny video, and I almost wish that I had played it today, where she's talking to the guy, and she's going through, she asks him, she's like, hey, do you think you have anything in common with a black conservative? He says no. She immediately starts to list off all these different things. He agrees with every single point. Not one point did he say he disagreed with, even down to being a capitalist. He agreed with every single point. And she's like, that's what a black conservative pretty much agrees with. And his face at the end of the video is one of shock, right? So again, we learned really quickly that it was not about whether we could have these conversations and whether they would agree with us. It was about getting in front of them, right? It was about doing the work to actually get in front of these people. So I am challenging people in here to think differently about how you look at Black America. It's not so much, again, that they disagree. Just ask yourself, why is the left working so hard to keep us away from these spaces? So BLEXIT is now in 46 states plus DC. We'll have 51 chapters when it's all said and done. Yeah, round of applause for that. When I joined, we had no chapters. We started the first one in North Carolina, and this thing has grown tremendously since then. And we built on that. And now we have a student movement, like I mentioned, where we're on 6 different HBCUs. Round of applause for that. That's hard. It's like pulling teeth getting on HBCUs. We have a BLEXIT education group that also touches on important things like marriage, right? Marriage is like under attack today. I don't even know why. It's under attack. It's like everything you see, every TV show you turn on, it's just like marriage is just being degraded. It's being told to you, it's not important, don't worry about marriage, right? So we did an entire course on why marriage matters. We do things like financial literacy, right? Because we're teaching people how to actually provide for themselves. You'd be surprised how many people never learn simple things like how to open a bank account. That leads to government dependency, right? When you don't know how to do things and you're afraid to make decisions for yourself, you don't know how to manage money, how can you create generational wealth? What can you teach your kids, right? Your kids are gonna grow up and not know how to do these things too. That leads to who? Trying to get support from the left, which is exactly what they hope. They don't invest in these resources. The left, they have community organizations out there, and they'll say, hey, here's the application for this government program. Let me help you and show you how to sign up. We're not trying to bring you the fish. We're trying to teach you how to fish, okay? That's the critical difference between BLEXIT and these other community organizations that you see out here. And we are making a difference. And I have to sit back sometimes and I have to look at where this came from, the vision of Candace and Brandon at the very beginning to where it's going. We've done liberation shows in Baltimore, in Atlanta, Houston, Dallas. We went to Tampa, we went to Fort Lauderdale, we did Brooklyn. They tried to cancel us in Brooklyn, y'all. They tried to. The venue canceled us and we did that thing, we did it within 48 hours, we had a new venue. You cannot kill our spirit. We will fight to the bitter end. We don't care what it takes. We will fight. We will bring the message to every place that they said we couldn't. We will bring the message. So I challenge you guys all in this room today, whether you're black, whether you're white, whether you're Hispanic, whether you're Asian, I challenge you to also join this fight because it does take all of us. We like to always joke that we're not Black Lives Matter. We are not segregating ourselves. We believe that it's about America as a whole, okay? So while our mission largely takes us to minority America, we believe that ultimately the people that we're reaching, they need to, at some point when being with BLEXIT, see themselves as the patriot like we see ourselves. They see themselves as victors, not victims, right? They believe they can accomplish the American dream that is for them too, not just a certain group. There's no white man around the corner blocking you from what you're trying to get to, right? We actually have more in common than what separates us. We believe these things. We've lived these things. We know these things. And the reason why we are able to resonate is because we've been on the other side. That's what makes BLEXIT so different. So I want to give can you guys give a huge round of applause for all our BLEXIT leaders. Some of them are still out there right now working hard. There was a group out there that was like causing chaos out there, and I think they didn't have anything to do with us, by the way. It was a group causing chaos, and I think a fight broke out there and everything else. And I told my team, I said, we need to go talk to them, right? Somebody else would say, oh, stay away from that. I said, let's go towards the battle, remember. Go towards the battle. Those young men might need a mentor. You're right, they might need someone to explain things in a different way. Go towards the battle always, always. That's the way you're gonna really make change. Not just by talking about it, but going towards the battle. So if you haven't learned anything else from BLEXIT today, learn that we are willing to fight. Learn that there is no quitting us. Learn that we will do whatever it takes because we believe that our nation, the soul of our nation, is at stake. We believe that our children's future is at stake. We believe that Christ is being written out of schools, pushed out of everything, but the thing they don't know about Christ is that you can't push him out of anything. You can't push him out of, you might think you are. You might think you're doing that, but you can't. He is the King of Kings, okay? Don't have me start preaching up here, y'all. Don't get me going. Do not get me going. I'm gonna tell y'all, I'll be up here for 20 more minutes. But thank you guys for coming out and being on time. I appreciate you guys. If you are not a BLEXIT grassroots warrior, BLEXIT member, we need you guys again to join. Join the what? Join the what? Come on, y'all not listening. Join the battle. Her battle. Join the battle. Join the fight. Join the movement. Join BLEXIT. Get involved. Make change in your community. God bless you guys. Thank you all.